said, Nathaniel, I am a woman of many colors. The picture you see up here is a picture I took, I believe that was 2014 or 15. That is a picture of my former family. Yes, I am remarried. I was once married to that man, and now I'm remarried to another man, a beautiful, wonderful man. Why I decided to share this picture, I never share this picture. I never share things that has to do with him, but when you find that you've come to a place of healing, you're able to talk about your past, you're able to talk about things that happen, and you find that it's easier to speak about. At the point I deleted every picture that I had of him, and I left this. I don't know why I did. But I think it's for times such as this. So look closely at that picture. What do you see?
Happy family.
Look closely at the smiles. Look closely at the eyes. What do you see?
Fear.
Fear in the woman's eyes.
Mm.
The children not too free.
Fake expression.
I like it. And what do you see in the man? This was supposed to be a photo shoot. I'll tell you a little story about that. So we had a photo shoot, family, everyone. We're 5 children with extended family, and we waited for this young man for 2 hours. He didn't show up. And when he showed up like this for a photo shoot, a family photo shoot. But we had to take a picture somehow. So we took the picture. So the next picture, please. Yes, that is a picture of me. I will never delete this picture. I came into Canada 2016, and this was me 2017, my first birthday in Canada. Look at that TV, it still has the huge back, right? I bought it for $50. That rug did not belong to me. That little flower vase there, I still have it because it brings memories. It was one of the first things I bought with my money. The sofa was not mine. And that cake, my kids said, "No, Mom, we have to celebrate." And I decided, okay, we're going to do this. And look at that scarf. I think I had cornrows. I managed to look good. All of the clothes I wore were hand-me-downs, everything. Everything in that house was a hand-me-down. Next picture. What do you see?
Growth,
This is me.
change, transformation.
What do you see in this woman?
Radiating.
Thank you. What do you
Smiling.
see? Mm-hmm.
Happy.
What do you see?
Free.
What do you see?
Steve.
Steve.
Demure.
If you like, call him.
Demure. Very demure. Demure.
Huh?
If you have something to say,
I have something to say. What do you see?
smile.
So we're going to contrast the first picture with the third picture. That first picture, behind that smile was fear, was panic, was sadness, was sorrow, despair, emotional hurt, pain, brokenness. A woman without a vision, a woman without a voice. A broken woman. I was totally broken. There was physical abuse, there was emotional abuse. Physical, not so physical. Maybe just once. But I won't say physical abuse. There was psychological, verbal, emotional, any kind of abuse you could think of. And if I post this picture anywhere, they'll say, happy family. You know, but behind, just to let you know that there's so many women going through things like this. And they smile, take wonderful pictures, have perfect makeup, wonderful hair. And behind that smile, there's brokenness. And then the last picture. This is a woman that has found joy, purpose. She's radiating. There's a different kind of, the smile is different. She feels fulfilled. She feels heard. She has started to live her purpose. All right, you can take the picture away. Thank you. I decided to share that because it's very important to, I'm not a picture person. But there's some pictures that I try to leave. I try to keep because it reminds me of where and how far that I've come.
From my husband.
God has taken me on a journey that even I myself, I don't understand. But I know where He's taking me. I don't know exactly where, but I go with the flow as to how He's taking me. And I decided to unburden. I decided to unpack all those things holding me back. Because it feels like you have a backpack. We can have all forms of backpack. It could be an Adidas bag, a Nike bag, Chris Bella bag, any form of bag. And we're just putting in all the baggage in there. We just stuff it and stuff it and stuff it. And it gets too full. But we keep carrying that backpack around. Everyone you see, you unpack it. You try to unpack it into anyone's lives. That's why you see that with a lot of people that project brokenness in the workplace. They project brokenness as friends in every relationship. You just see it shining, but because we don't know how well to deal with it. I moved to Canada and I was just a different person. I used to be very bubbly as a young girl. I wanted to be the life of the party. If I step into the room, you feel the light, and then the light died. And I just wanted to hide. So I wanted to hide forever. I didn't want my face to be seen. I didn't want my voice to be heard. Because I had been in a marriage that I was told constantly, your voice needs not to be heard. Shut up. Your opinion does not count. So I kept remembering those things. My opinion does not count. Why do I need to open my mouth? When I started work, I remember my boss had to personally mentor me. And I told him my story, and he's like, no, you have a voice. That voice needs to be heard. So I want to hear your opinions. And the light started to shine. And I started to come out. The Bible says that you're a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. So when the devil tries to dim that light that you have, that means he shuts your voice. How can he shut the person's voice? Through abuse, through negativity. Little things that happen to you. You go in argument with one person and then you feel hurt. You feel broken. You begin to replay those things that person said. Arrow of words. The words keep going in your mind, in your soul. And you feel, oh no, I cannot open my mouth. I can't speak to this person. I feel offended. I feel hurt. Those are little ways that the devil steals your light. So how then do we recognize the weight? How do we recognize the pain? How do we recognize burdens? Things that are not supposed to be in you. They come in different forms. I'm African. I'm Nigerian. Proudly Nigerian, by the way. And the way we were raised is funny, right? We were raised to be fearful of our parents. We were raised to just be brave no matter what. You brave up anything. Anything happens to you, they smack your face. Come on, brave up, And a lot of people were broken, were traumatized, and they don't know that they carry that burden. They don't know that's the reason why they can't speak up in public. They don't know that's the reason why they're having issues in their marriage. They don't know that's the reason why they don't seek for that promotion at work. That's the reason why they're in poverty. That's the reason why they're in lack, because of what happened when they were growing up. So how do we identify these things? It comes in different forms. If you see in your heart that there is offense constantly, there is envy constantly, there is animosity constantly, animosity towards God. Some of you might look at it and see, I can never be angry towards God. Yes, you can. It comes subtle. Things happen to you, begin to question. Why did you let this happen to me, God? Why did you let this happen? I've served you with all of my life. And before you know it, there's animosity towards God. There's animosity towards others. Someone might have offended you. How do you know you've freed the person? You can test it. You have to test your heart all the time. Do a heart check all the time. Every time, every day, when you go home. Replay the day. How did my day go? That person that spoke to me, why do I feel that way? I remember there was a time that something happened to me. I had an argument with a lady. It wasn't an argument as such, but her views were stronger than mine. And I decided to step back. But she was so upset that I was quiet. She was like, no, this is not you. You're usually very vocal, and she was so upset. She says, oh, I'm planning evil against her. And I felt so hurt. I was shaking with anger, but I couldn't open my mouth because I just wanted to control myself. And for months, I was in offense. For months, I was bitter. And I spoke to one of my sisters, and she said, why are you feeling like this? I said, I don't even understand why. She said, I should go back and check why I'm feeling so offended. So looking back, I traced it back, and I realized that it went back as far back as my marriage, back when I was married then to my ex-husband. When he would say things to me, it felt like I was hearing again what she was saying. Those things that he used to say, I was hearing it through her mouth. And I just felt like strangling her. You don't know how far these things can go in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to strangle her. That's why sometimes when she speaks to me, I'm shaking with anger, because I couldn't do anything. So I had to go back. And I had to go back to detoxify. I'm like, no, this thing cannot remain in me. If it remains in me, it will affect every friendship, everybody that I meet, because I already shut out. I said, nope, I'm not going to allow anybody. I don't want friends in my life. I don't want anybody to come close to me. And I can be king with that. If I want to shut you out, I can shut you out for years. So she told me, go back and check it. And yeah, I was able to free myself of offense, of animosity that I had in my heart. And then I brought myself to a place where I needed to forgive my ex-husband. He did a lot of things. And I did my own things as well. Right? We have our faults. And I'm not going to say everything everything came from him. No. I had my fault. He had his faults. So we were in our own minds justified for whatever happened, but still forgiveness had to come. And I had to forgive myself first and then forgive him. So I want you to take some time and think, do you feel heavy? Do you feel worried? Do you feel confused, bitter? Do you feel less of yourself, less confident, lack of self-esteem? What do you think might be causing these things? Go back, trace it back. And it will come in all forms. Like I said, it will come with bitterness, animosity, anger, offense. You find that there's so much guile in your heart. The Bible says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. If your heart is not pure, you won't see God. And it's not seeing God physically. It's meeting with God. It's fellowshipping with God. That's what it really means. So if there is no purity in that heart, sometimes you think it's only if you're pure in terms of, oh, I'm not fornicating or I'm not committing adultery. No. Is there love in that heart? Is there love in your heart? When you hold on to emotional pain, it reflects on our energy, it reflects on our relationship and our self-image. Yes, I was that woman. It reflected on every part of me. There was no self-esteem. Who would look at me back then and say, oh, she'll one day hold a mic? My self-esteem was gone. It was dead. If I enter a room, you don't even feel any energy. There was no energy. It was only negativity. I didn't see anything positive in anything. And I didn't even want to see because I was holding on to the pain. I felt I was justified to hold on to the pain. But after a while, the Lord started to speak to me. And he told me one thing. He asked me to start praying for this man. I remember one day when I told someone, I said, she asked me, how can I forgive all the evil that he's done? I said, start praying for him. She said, God forbid. It's understandable. You don't want to do that. So I started praying for him. It was the hardest thing I could do. But I think God was teaching me how to love. In spite of whatever you've been through, in spite of whatever you see, you have to love. Because God is love. He shows love to everybody. So who am I that was made by him? Why can't I show love? So I started praying. And the more I prayed, the more that the burden left my heart. The more the offense left my heart. The more the bitterness left my heart. And the more that I forgot everything. Yes, I did forget a lot of things. It was only as I was writing my book that I started to remember things. And my editor was prompting me, she was poking me. She was like, I want more stories. I said, no. No, I'm not going to go deep. I'm only going to go as far as the Holy Spirit wants me to go. But yeah, you can free everything. When you hold on to hurt that you've been through, you can't make a right decision. You can't fulfill purpose. You can't even have the correct friends. When you hold on to pain and hurt, you will make errors in judgment. So holding on to pain does not justify the pain. It only hurts you the more. It's normal to have these feelings of hatred, of bitterness, of anger. It's normal. But then it doesn't have to stay with you. So I want us to do something. We're going to do a session later with one of our speakers here. But I want us to do something. If you have a pen, if you have a paper, you're going to write things that happened to you at various stages of your life that you can remember. 0 to 10. Significant things that happened that you know has marked you to where you are today. I know people that their parents, their fathers were not fathers. They didn't show them the love that they needed. And they are where they are today because their fathers were not standing as their father. I know people that have been molested as children. And they're where they are today because of the molestation. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. We have different demographics here today, so I can go on 60 to 70. If we have 90 to 100, that's okay. But significant things, please write them down. You need to acknowledge your pain. I came to that point where I had to acknowledge my pain, that I'm hurting. And I told God, I said, God, I'm hurting. I'm really hurting. Sorry. I told God, I said, I'm hurting. I'm really hurting. And I want this pain to stop. You know when you hurt so much, you feel pain in your chest. I used to constantly feel the pain in my chest. And I said, I want this to stop. And the devil whispered in my ears. He told me, no, go date people, you'll feel better. Date other people, you'll feel better. And I'm like, okay, maybe that will work. Let me start dating. I tried it a couple months. I'm like, no, not for me. And then I'll drop it again, and then I'll try it again, and I'm like, no, not for me. Something is wrong. I'm not getting the fulfillment. I'm not getting that satisfaction. There is something that is missing. I need it. And I searched for it. I searched for that relationship with God. But I had to acknowledge my pain first. And bringing it to his feet. I brought everything to the feet of Jesus. Everything. And in turn, he gave me intimacy. He gave me love. And he gave me the gift of compassion. Sometimes I'll tell people, I say I'm not an emotional person. But when I get into my skin, once I'm coaching, once I'm speaking with clients, that compassion comes up. I don't know where it comes from because I was never a compassionate person. Pain made me bitter. Pain made me hard. Pain made me a woman without emotions. And I never cried for years. Many years. until God told me it's time to cry. And I started to cry. I used to wonder, I'm like, why are these women crying? What's so, anything that happens, I'm just upset. Why are you crying? You know, and then one day I was watching a movie and I was crying. I'm like, something has gone here. Something is off. I started to cry watching movies. I started to get emotional listening to people. And I started to cry while worshiping, while being in intimacy with my Father. Then I knew that that burden had lifted. Every imagination that you have of the past, of broke, anything that has happened, anything, I want you to visualize it and think of it as a stone that is too heavy to carry. You can't put a stone in your bag. You can't put it in your backpack. It's going to weigh you down, right? So take that stone, put it at Jesus' feet. Because God wants you to experience Him to the fullest. To the fullest. Now, I took a course in neuro-linguistic, and also I have a friend, Nii Boriri, took me on a wonderful journey of neurology and coaching. So helped me understand how you can begin to create a new narrative for yourself. So it's like just what I said. Visualize the hurt. Take it like a stone. Put it down at Jesus' feet. Now begin to create new narratives. This is what I want to see. So I started to create new narratives. And I told myself, you're not going to remain like this. Your marital destiny is not truncated. There is a lot more for you ahead of you. I started to visualize myself in a wedding gown. I don't know why I figured that I'll be wearing white. Yeah, in a white wedding gown, sitting on the bed. Someone is making my hair, getting me ready for a wedding. You know, I visualized everything. So much so that I believed it. So when I was going to get married the second time, I was wondering, where's my wedding gown? But anyway, yeah, you visualize, you change the narrative. Whatever you used to see before, now turn it around. Replace those thoughts with the new thoughts, with what you want to see. Think of it so much, replay it so much that it begins to gain a new ground in your mind. So what you're doing is that you're turning things around. Sometimes you know how something happens in your life and you imagine stuff. And you imagine it so much that you believe what you've imagined, but it never happened. That's exactly what the brain is going to do when you create a new narrative. And then how then, I'm rounding up now. How then do you get to a place where you can do this? I'm just giving practical steps of things that I did. I started to journal. And I remember back then I questioned myself journaling. When I was in secondary school, I had people that used to journal, and I'm like, they will write their diary. Today I met a guy that had a crush on. I'm like, this is not me. What is my business with all these things? When I was advised to journal, I'm like, journaling, what am I writing? Dear diary. Okay, no. And I was told, no, write whatever is in your heart. Whatever you hear God speaking to you about. And I said to the person, I don't hear God speaking to me. And she told me, that's not possible. You hear God speaking to you. So go back. And I had to find His voice. So I'll write stuff, everything, and I'll unpack my heart into the book. I have journals dating back as 2017 that I still keep. I have lots of them. I would unpack my heart, whatever it is I'm feeling. So it made me feel lighter. It made me feel like I was talking to somebody, and then new, fresh ideas started to come in. Then I had affirmations. I pasted them everywhere. You didn't want to come to my house back then. Because you would look at the mirror and you can't even see your face in the mirror. Everything you see, the affirmations, sticky notes. I had affirmations everywhere. If I turn around this way, affirmations. And then I used to speak into a voice recorder. I'll speak what I wanted to hear. So I'll speak words and then I'll replay it to myself. Maybe while driving or taking a bath. You can also listen to audiobooks. And then one thing I did as well, I used to set aside time to meditate, time to reflect on things that didn't serve me, that I need to dump. So it was like a constant recycling. I used to recycle stuff and just dump it. And then before I knew it, I began to shine. I began to smile. And then I sat one day and I asked the Lord, what do you want me to do? You know, what do you want me to do with my life? How do you want me to serve you? And then he started to reveal to me. He couldn't have revealed to me all the while. I wasn't ready. I couldn't have taken it up. But then when I realized that I'd reached that point that I want to help people because I've been through this journey. So I also want to help women that have been through this journey. And then he started to reveal to me. So here I am today. I just wanted to encourage everyone. You're stronger than any pain you experience. You are brave. For even showing up here today, you are strong. And taking a step towards peace and freedom is not an easy thing. So that you took your bath this morning, you showered, you didn't let the enemy take that away from you. You didn't get distracted. I congratulate you. If you'd like to explore more practices more deeply, you want to hear more